Got it.
Okay, hello, welcome to episode 446 of the Self-Help Podcast with me, Ed Lamb, and my good pal, Sean Orford, and a very happy Christmas to you, Sean, if it's not too early to say that.
No, ho, 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 very good.
We're recording this one in advance, aren't we, so we can have a bit of time off over Crimbo.
Yeah, we're going to chill and relax, man.
We are, yeah, which means no podcasting, but yeah, it's is it a happy time of year for you, Christmas, Sean? You looking forward to it?
Yeah, it wasn't a good time for me as a kid. It was quite tough as a kid because it meant that the whole family was together, which wasn't good. And you were kind of stuck together and you couldn't get away from them. So that was hard. But no, as I've got older and I've owned Christmas more, it's more fun. So we'll have like, our average is about 12, 14 people for Christmas dinner. And then quite often by the end of the day, it can be like 25. Accepting the fact that all the kids are growing up now and they've got things like boyfriends and girlfriends, and they go and do other things. So don't know how busy it will be this year.
Yeah, well, life changes, doesn't it? And
yeah,
we can talk about that as part of the discussion, really, because Christmas evolves in terms of how we celebrate it and the things we do, but also it changes for people in terms of how the family changes and people come and go, don't they?
Yeah. So is yours going to be busy?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I mean, actually, it'd be quite quiet. In recent years, we've had lots of friends and family, well, COVID allowing and all that. We've had people come to us generally. So we've been cooking for either one set of parents, in-laws, and my grandma as well, and all associated kids. I think this year, though, we're just going to my in-laws, so it'll be a quieter one than it has been. Which would be cool. I'm looking forward to it, and it'll be quiet and cozy, and still, obviously, it's kind of peak excitement really for my lads. They're 7 and 9, or they'll be 7 and 10 by that time. So, yeah, I mean that's like golden age for Father Christmas and Christmas in general, isn't
it? Yeah, brilliant.
And Cooper as well.
Time. So I hope Cooper's got a stocking with some stuffing.
Well, yeah, we're really trying to. Basically, he'll be getting looked after very well. Cooper the dog.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, I think I should have mentioned by now. liveinthepresent.co.uk for all the show notes and links. Blog post from Sean on the way too, and yeah, all the usual stuff. All previous episodes are on there too, including many. I don't know how many years we've been doing this. There's probably 6 or 7 Christmas episodes from years gone by that you could listen to.
Yeah, yeah. None to be missed.
Indeed. Your blog post this week, Sean, starts out talking about the weather and how it doesn't really feel too festive just yet.
Well, it's been quite weird because over the last couple of months, we have had a few cold days, but overall it's been so warm. It's almost been like t-shirts and shorts. Like we walked around the Marine Lake, and it's been really warm and sunny. And it's a bit hard to believe that we're actually getting towards Christmas with the weather being like it is. I guess that if you're down in Oz, then you expect it to be hot at Christmas, but it's a bit weird here.
Christmas is different things to different people, depending on where you are in the world, isn't it? So yeah, we're not quite like shrimp on the Barbie style levels of warmth just yet, but it has been quite mild. But I was speaking to my mum and dad the other week, because I've recently turned 40, so I had a special birthday to celebrate. And when I was born in Newcastle, which is my hometown, my dad had to shovel snow off the driveway on December the 14th, 1981. I don't mind saying, try and guess my internet passwords from that. But when was the last time we had real thick, heavy snow in December? It's just
right. Yeah.
And it's that's the kind of picture book version of Christmas that everyone wants. Even probably people in Australia probably are aware of that kind of default picture of Christmas and Santa Claus, with his big, thick, heavy boots. But so that's the picture book version of it. But not all of us need that or have that for Christmas, do they?
Yeah. And a lot of that is historical. In the 70s, when I was in Devon before I went off traveling, the snow was so heavy that we had to have snow plows, and you'd drive up a road and it would literally just be a wall of snow either side where the snow plow had gone through. And it's like, I haven't seen snow like that in a long, long time. You know?
And you've been around for a long, long time, haven't you?
I've been for a long time and a bit, yes.
So yeah, I mean, what does the Christmas in general mean in terms of like the historical sense? How do you view it this time of year?
Well, to me, it's always that interesting thing about the solstice, the pagan thing. So you've got the end of the longest night and the beginning of the shortest day. It starts to switch over, so the days get longer and the nights get shorter. So, and it's that whole concept of the light overcoming the dark, and the solstice was kind of hijacked by Christianity in a sense, and the so that you get the same kind of 12 days. You had 12 days of Yuletide, so we have 12 days of Christmas, all that kind of stuff. But the thing that fascinates me is that concept of light over dark, because I'm dealing with that all the time, whether it's in the psychiatric work I've done or whether it's in general psychotherapy. You've got people coming out of the dark into the light. So it's quite powerful kind of metaphors for me. But I was thinking about it, and the light at Christmas for me is that whole idea of seeing the light in other people. And I wrote down some things on our notes here, but I can remember an advert when I was a kid, and there was a chocolate called Terry's All Gold, and the song was "See the One You Love Light Up with Terry's All Gold." And what they did was they had the box would come around in front of the person with the light reflecting off the box that would light the person's face up. And I remember that being a really powerful image. But in many ways, the light that I see at Christmas is the light in other people. It's like people coming round and kind of loosening and lightening up and actually lighting up in a very real sense. And whether it's like opening the presents and looking at people's faces, as you know, like that kind of joy and happiness and the laughter.
Yeah.
All the silliness of like the mottos in crackers, you know, all that kind of stuff that are really kind of like jokes that make you feel like you're sucking a lemon, you know, that too. You know.
Yeah, so it's like it's the franticness, the frantic build up to it. Is it all worth it for you in the end?
Well, what we tend to do, because this is the main house that people come to, is we try to get as much done on the days before, so that effectively on Christmas Day it's fairly minimal. That's what we aim for. It doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah,
it's nice if you can, yeah. But you know, very often, yeah.
I'm conscious that people listening in, we all have our own little routines pre-Christmas, and we're assuming you may or may not have a work life that not everyone gets 2 weeks off over Christmas. Like I'm able to the way my work works, and my wife's a teacher, so you know it's busy, it's frantic at school. She's in the build-up, but then you get that two and a bit weeks off, and we just proper aside from the busy times when we've got to see friends and family, and we're generally just crashing on the sofa, watching movies and eating food and just like shutting ourselves off from the world. I'm quite enjoying it, if I'm honest. Well, definitely.
We do the Christmas Day, everybody's round and it's all happening. So Christmas Eve, it's sister-in-laws, Christmas Day is us, and then Boxing Day is everybody go away and we're just pajamas in front of the TV. That's the
yeah, but some folks, I mean, my dad worked in retail his life, and I did when I was, out of university. So I've got memories of having to get up early on Boxing Day to get to my job.
To the sales. Oh God.
Yeah, so I worked at Curry's back in the early noughties, late 90s even probably. So Boxing Day salesman at Curry's, that was like so full on. Oh my gosh, it's like unbelievable chaos. So, I mean, you and I are sat at home in our pajamas watching James Bond or whoever knows what, but out there, there's a madness going on in the shops, man. Let me tell you.
So will that happen this year? Will there be Boxing Day?
Probably, yeah. I think so. I mean, yeah, the restrictions.
Yeah,
You still go in a shop. You just got to wear a mask, right? So, or a face covering. So, yeah,
well,
I guess it's interesting to think when we're all doing our thing at Christmas, whatever it is, that there are other people out there around the world doing entirely different things and celebrating in different ways.
crazy stuff.
Maybe you and I should go to a retail park on Boxing Day and do a podcast and just kind of observe the madness and like people fighting over cheap TVs and vacuum cleaners. What do you reckon?
Only if I can come in my pajamas and you drive the van.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, no, it's interesting what you talk about in terms of light. A little thing I observed this morning on the way to school, that one of the last days of school for me lads. When I take my youngest to school on a sunny day, the sun really kind of blinds us as we go through the school gates. But I've been telling him last week that the sun's nearly below one of the houses. So I was like, Jacob, like soon you'll be able to see in the morning, because even on a sunny day, the sun will be below the house. And this morning, beautiful morning, the sun was below the house, so we didn't have to squint as we walked in. And it's like, but I was telling him how December the 21st or the 22nd will be the lowest point for the sun, and by the time he comes back in January, it'll probably be back above the house. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. That's the whole kind of solstice. I wonder how our ancestors, gradually got used to the idea as they worked out the calendar for the year and the seasons. Because as hunter-gatherers and as early farmers, they would have to have worked it out. But that whole sense of observing the sun, observing the phases of the moon, and understanding what was going on around us. I mean, I wonder how many people actually look upwards now. Most, I guess, if you do look upwards at night, the light pollution means you can't see anything anyway. Whereas in the olden days, when there were no lights, you would just be looking up at the sky and seeing the moon. I love it, that weird thing at this time of year where the moon comes out whilst the sun's still up. And that weird thing about how can the moon be there and the sun's still bright? It's really odd.
I know we sort of taught our kids as the moon is something that comes out at night and the sun is the day, but I always like having a little, when you see the moon in the daytime, it's always quite, even as a 40-year-old adult, it's always like, wow, that's cool. Maybe if you're not used to spotting those things, or maybe you've kind of forgotten how interesting stuff like that is, maybe Christmas is a time when you can start to reconnect with just the simple things that we see every day and we take for granted. Is Christmas a good time for like contemplation and planning for the year ahead?
I think it depends how people are coming at it. I mean, ideally, yes. And we've got a year coming up, and it'd be nice to have some, as we've done on the courses and things, the idea about if you've got a goal to aim for, then you're motivated, you plan, you do stuff, all that kind of stuff, as long as it's not set in stone. That's good. But we have to accept the fact that for a lot of people, Christmas is going to be a tough time. And that whole idea of, chestnuts roasting on an open fire is a bit of a Hollywood misnomer for lots of people. And it can be a tough time.
So is it worth asking, checking in on our loved ones and maybe neighbours that haven't got anyone, that kind of thing as well, and just making sure they're okay and in a good place?
And I mean, in any general setting, we're going to be losing people, but with the COVID ramifications for many people, this is going to be the first Christmas without somebody, and that's a tough thing, tough time, and I always encourage people not to kind of ignore it, but to actually deliberately mark it, like maybe actually get a big picture of the person who's not there and stick it out and get everybody to raise a glass and say something positive, so that it's not, and there's no elephants in the room. We've addressed it, and we've addressed it positively, all that kind of stuff.
Because when we talk about grief and stuff like that, it's a long process. So you might have lost someone even 6-9 months ago, but still that's not long enough amount of time to have processed it full. Is that a fair comment?
And but also some people will say, well, this is the second Christmas without whoever. And it's still very, very poignant. And that might go on for several Christmases. And feel like there is someone missing at the table, kind of thing. But rather than feel it and not say it, it's much better to acknowledge it and to bring it into the room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well said. All right. Well, I think this is a short and snappy one. Is there anything else you want to say about Crimbo, or have you got a resource to link to, or a favorite Christmas movie of yours, Sean?
I'd say one last thing is that this is going to be our first Christmas without Ollie the dog, and I think that's going to be really weird. Ollie's been around for 15 years, and it's going to be strange not having him with us, I think. Yeah, and I'm not sure how the family is going to respond to that. I think it might be a bit difficult, but we're going to have to deal with that one. I think that in terms of movies, I'm really boring. I really like to watch the same kind of things. Like I like watching Love Actually. I like The Holiday, and there's a few movies like that just kind of get me in the mood. What's it on 34th Street?
Miracle,
all that kind
Miracle on 34th Street, yeah,
those kind of things, and they're kind of schmaltzy and a bit kind of corny, but I love it. It's great. It's good.
Yeah, same for me actually. I think I would actually The Holiday and Love Actually are two favorites in ours, even though they are super cheesy. I think I actually would rank The Holiday. I think I prefer The Holiday to Love Actually now. Even we watch them every year.
Yeah.
I think I prefer The Holiday now. I'm not sure if it's because you get a bit of Los Angeles sun in as well as but I know they do. They go to Portugal, don't they? And in Love Actually to meet the lady that eats.
Yeah.
So same.
They're both fun. Both fun movies.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So we'll link to a few trailers.
Yeah. Okay.
And yes. Cool. All right, Sean. You have a great time, man, and we're sending our best wishes, aren't we, to everyone out there listening?
Yeah. Have a fabulous Christmas. Yeah.
All righty.
Enjoy yourselves.
Take care, everyone. Have fun.
You take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.